Did you know that the global car detailing services business is valued at over $37 billion? That means there's plenty of customers that need their cars detailed and plenty of money for you. And best of all, the startup costs are next to nothing. Today we're talking with Jose from Car Detox, one of Orlando's most successful car detailing businesses. We're going to learn about how he started his business from scratch and how he grew it to where it is today.
I paid a lot for the van,
Okay.
a lot more than what it was worth.
All right.
Okay, but the guy trained me for 3 days, right?
Okay.
So those 3 days for me were amazing because I never had formal training on detailing. I always learned on my own.
Yeah.
After I bought the van, I had no money, but I didn't sleep, by just building a website, creating a logo, which I did horribly, like.
Right.
After I got married, I said to my wife, listen, let's double the prices that we're doing.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, but we were slow at that time. We doubled the prices and everything was up again. I converted a bad review into a good review and then $8,000 worth of one car, one service.
Wow, okay.
You make like $34,000.
Okay.
But if you start good and you educate yourself a lot, I feel anyone can be doing triple digits, right? Like 100,000 or more.
Really?
Yeah, if they do it right.
Did you have a background in detailing or working on cars or anything like that? Or how did you get the idea to get started in detailing?
Well, 2004, I came here. I did a couple of jobs unrelated, but 6 months later, I landed a job in a dealership doing their detailing for their trucks.
Okay.
Right? They were box trucks and Max, big trucks.
Sure.
I was by myself. I learned on my own for about 2 years, right? Then I decided to move on and actually work related to cars. I sold cars, right?
Oh, okay.
So for about, I would say like 5 years or maybe 4 or 5 years, I was selling cars, got interested in cars, and obviously because I did detailing before, I was, using the detailing things, the detailing places of the dealership.
Sure.
And I was detailing cars like that.
Okay.
But then I got interested on computer science and computers, so I went to college for that. During college, I got my internship, right?
Okay.
And then on my internship, I was able to save some money and was looking for, businesses to start because I've always been interested in that.
Sure.
And I came across one guy that was selling his detailing van.
Okay.
Things were not doing great with him, and he was selling it. So I went ahead and bought it.
Nice.
And that's how.
And the van was like fully equipped to do all the detailing that you needed to do?
It was fully equipped. I paid a lot for the van.
Okay.
A lot more than what it was worth.
All right.
Okay. But the guy trained me for 3 days. Right.
Okay.
So those 3 days for me were amazing because I never had formal training on detailing. I always learned on my own. Right?
Yeah.
So he told me what he was charging, how he did it, and things like that. For 3 days, I had him, and that made me that helped me out.
Yeah.
A lot. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible because a lot of people tell us that like having a mentor or someone that is at least in a related field is like such a help to getting started. Especially like with getting your first clients. Were you able to acquire any of his clients like when you got the van as well?
So he was not organized, right?
Okay.
With that, he gave me a bunch of numbers, no names, right?
Okay.
But he did allow me to have his phone number because he was leaving in the States, and by his phone number, I would say I have like 5 good clients to start with.
Okay.
5 regulars that he had.
Sure.
That were not the best paying jobs, that he would take me to places and allow me to talk to other people.
Sure.
And sell my services like that.
Okay. So that was your first 5 clients was those guys that had the phone number. Went beyond those first 5 and making connections, like how did you get, the 6th, 7th, 100th client after that?
Yeah, so, well, the van was it had all kind of letters and said the name and all the stuff.
Sure.
But what I did, I was excited because I was starting new, right? So if I was in a place, I would say hi to people, and they would ask me, and I would tell them that yes, of course I can do this or that, or if they had a boat, even though I never did a boat before, I would say yes, I can probably do a boat.
Yeah.
Always saying yes to the new opportunities and
Sure.
things like that.
I mean, so with your computer science background and then the mobile detailing business, did you do any initial like online advertising or anything like that for the business?
Not advertising, right? Because I had no money.
Yeah.
After I bought the van, I had no money. But I didn't sleep,
Okay.
but just building a website, creating a logo, which I did horribly, like
Right.
everything on my own on that side, right? But creating profiles at that time, having a Yelp, a Google, this,
Sure.
I was always like learning what to create, what to get better, and things like that, how to
Yeah.
get organized. So and that was because of my computer science background, like trying to do the newer things. Yeah.
Interesting. It's interesting you mentioned Google reviews because that's how we find a lot of the people that we're interested in talking to, because they have high reviews on Google. Is that something that you now focus on? Why are your reviews so good on Google right now?
Okay. Yeah, that's probably one of my first secrets, right? Like
Okay.
when because I always try to find out what to do to get better and things like that. I came across this guy that said, you need Google reviews, right? And this is a system that I have, and I just copy the system one by one.
Okay.
And I became, I think, I became one of the most reviewed mobile detailers ever.
Interesting.
Like I would look and the system worked, and it was easy. It was just ask for the review in a certain way.
Okay.
Like you ask the person, like to say, Steve, would you do me a favor?
Yeah.
And they say yes. When they say yes, they're committed.
Right.
They're committed to something. Would you write a review for me?
Yeah.
And they're committed to something easy.
Sure.
So they would do it. And that's how I got busy.
So
after-
how did you find that guy that was giving you the advice for Google? Did he advertise online and say, I know
No.
how to get Google reviews?
No, it was a website, I probably came across a blog.
Okay.
And that is a system I still use today.
It seems like you made a lot of like very smart decisions in the beginning. Like you bought something within your budget, you did the Google reviews, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you think back, is there anything that you say, I wish I could change? If I would have done this better, I would be more successful now?
Yeah. At one point I got burnout, right?
Okay.
It was a lot of work. I would be here detailing, I would be at my house working. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right? And I wanted to quit for that because it's too much work. I couldn't find people that would do the work that I needed them to do. And so if anything I would have done differently is, find the right people from the beginning.
Sure.
To help me out on the technical stuff. Once I got the detailing right, I got trained for 3 days and I did a good job. Right?
Yeah.
So if I would have think of that, like why don't I train somebody really well for 1 month
Yeah.
to do the work that I want, and then I can working on the business, not in the business.
Yeah.
That would have been a game changer.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a trap a lot of like new business people fall into is like you do have to spend time not just doing the work but working on building the business itself.
Yes.
So how many employees do you have right now?
Well, this is a family business, right?
Okay.
So my wife is my graphic designer. She does anything that has to do with that.
Sure.
I have my mom helping me with accounting and
Okay.
commissions, all that stuff. She
Yeah.
does a lot here on the background. And my dad, when he retired, he started to help me.
Okay.
Right? And now I have Omar that came and he impressed me with his work, and all my clients are very happy with him. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So for Omar or for hiring like a new employee, even though you have a lot of family, which is great because that's instant trust, like you can trust them with your business. How'd you go from like 0 employees yourself to that first person?
Community.
Okay.
So I started meeting people. Thanks to the brand I sell, I started meeting people from other shops.
Okay.
Right? And started getting their advice and their way to do things. I started getting better at paint correcting and all that stuff. But Dave Ramsey, you probably know him. That was one person that helped me out with correcting the business how it was.
Okay.
And the books that he recommended, like Thou Shalt Prosper. And then one time I went to my church, and the pastor recommended another book called E-Myth.
Okay.
And little things like that. So it's people that recommend you stuff, and as long as you apply, you're not gonna apply it perfectly, but it's gonna help you. Like, don't do this alone.
Can you tell us something that stuck out in particular to you that you learned in that book?
Yes. So I used to say, oh, I can't hire employees because no one wants to do the job, and they don't do it, and they frustrate me and things like that, right?
Sure.
But at the end, like with the E-Myth, I realized it wasn't them, it was me. I was lacking a lot of things as a leader and in the business, right?
Interesting.
And one of the things I was lacking, the book is amazing, I recommend it to anybody, that he recommends to have a system for everything.
Okay.
So if you clean a wheel a certain way and you found out the best way to clean the wheel, you document that, and that's how you train your people to do it.
Sure.
Right? So you end up having systems for everything, not just for the technical part, but for how you do your accounting, how you treat customers. Come here, everybody's trained on how they're gonna say hi to that customer, how they're gonna give them the form they need to fill out, how we're not going to see their car before they fill out the form, things like that. So you create a system, you respect your system, you do the same thing, and that's how others see it and say, oh, it's, you work with integrity. The same thing you teach them, you do, right? If you teach them how you want their detailing car to be, so that they're ready for the next car, and then you do it when you're working with them, things like that.
So the system is almost like a silent manager. It's like you don't have to be there managing the thing because the system is managing it, and then that frees you up to work on growing your business and do other things as well.
Yeah, and that also helps them because they feel like they know what they're doing. They don't feel lost on it. Oh, is the boss going to like this or not?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. And then obviously they're working on the business and in the business. That's another thing I got from that book as well.
We talked a lot about starting your business. Can you tell us about the services that you offer here and the products that you use?
Yes. So we offer mainly detailing.
Okay.
Interior detailing is our main thing, right? So we can take cars apart, we can change carpets and things like that.
Sure.
Then we go to exterior detailing and ceramic coating, right?
Okay.
Paint correction, ceramic coatings. We can do paint protection films, right? And now they have color paint protection films, so we can color change the cars that they come. And what else? So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you mentioned that you work for a specific brand or you carry a specific line. What brand is that you work with?
It's a Turkish brand. It's called Nasio.
Okay.
Yeah. Their product is a little more expensive because I imported them, right? But when I was studying ceramic coating, I used a lot of brands that were not giving me the duration that they said, right? So 2 years, and I would come 3 months later, and nothing was there.
Oh,
right?
man.
So I started using them, and then by luck, they contacted me when I did the shop, and they said if I wanted to sell their products because they were needing somebody in this location in Central Florida. And I said yes because I was buying their products and I was gonna buy them at half the price, which it was nice because they were very expensive products.
Did they offer you any kind of, by associating with a specific brand, did they offer you any kind of like training? Or obviously you said they have an incentive, you could buy at wholesale instead of where you were buying before?
Yeah, they paid for Auto Geek training, which is like an $1,800 training.
Okay.
They pay for that to me and to other people in other locations, Miami, New York.
Sure.
So we went all together and we learned more paint correction, different brands of ceramic coatings and things like that.
You said that when you acquired the mobile van in the beginning, you got some customers. How did that help you with determining how to price your services as well?
That was a funny story. So
Okay.
the doctor that I said that he had a Rolls Royce and things like that, he told me one time, one of the first times, I did like 4 cars for him.
Okay.
And I charged him $20 per car, right? Because that was the price list that the guy had for me, and that's what he was charging.
Sure.
And he said, "Why do you charge too little? Why are you charging so little?"
Yeah.
And after I got married, right? So I obviously bump up my price, right?
Sure.
But after I got married, I said to my wife, "Listen, let's double the prices that we're doing."
Yeah.
And it was crazy, but we were slow at that time. We doubled the prices and everything was up again. It was like we had the wrong price, but we went too little at the beginning.
Interesting.
Yes.
Do you feel like having a low price impacted the perceived value of the services that you had?
Yes, definitely. Because I was doing great work because, people were loving it, everything, but having a low price, especially to start with, doesn't set you up. It sets you up for failure. And
Yeah.
I was about to fail if I didn't correct that stuff. Yeah.
Were you a little bit scared to raise the prices, like on what impact it would have on your business?
Of course, you're doing a detail for $80, and when you try to say, well, I'm gonna do it for $220 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's nobody's gonna. You think, oh, nobody's gonna do this.
Yeah.
But it's completely wrong because sometimes it's us, the entrepreneurs, that we don't value everything we do, and if we don't value it, then we're gonna get the wrong customers.
Yeah. How did you handle it with existing customers? Were you able to, did you raise the prices for them, or were they kind of grandfathered into a lower price and then new customers got the new price?
Yeah. No, so I didn't raise the price on them.
Okay.
I only did that once when it was like too little or the customer was actually hurting me.
Sure.
But if it was somebody that I already paid, especially a recurring customer, and I liked him, then I didn't raise the prices on him. But all the new ones, they would get the new price. Yeah.
Okay.
Then I only did that once, and they were okay with it. And I didn't lose any customers for that.
Nice.
Yeah. But
We talked a little bit about your Google reviews, and obviously you have great Google reviews, but not every customer is always happy.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that customer service aspect of the business if someone's not happy with the service they received?
that's one thing that I have to okay, so at first I had to learn that I couldn't be perfect, right?
Sure.
Like I would do mistakes and things like that because at one point I had like 5 stars, but then people started like giving me bad reviews and stuff like that. But I'll tell you one thing. So one thing is that I converted a bad review into a good review and then $8,000 worth of one car, one service.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I can tell you more about that later on. So a bad review doesn't mean a thing. Like it's not a bad review. It's an opportunity for you to do something and respond the right way.
Sure.
The other thing is, and I've failed on this many times. Some person has done, let's say, a window tint, and I'm like, it looks fine. It's good to my standard, right? I don't have to redo it or whatever, right? But then I think of, well, if he wasn't happy, I could have taken it out and reimbursed the money and say, look, your standard is more than mine, so I'd rather you do this in somewhere else, or So that's the thing. Like you have to learn through experience, and you're gonna make mistakes with customers, and some people are gonna leave and they're gonna be disappointed. But even if somebody is not happy, if you can convert that to real satisfaction to the customer, that would be even better.
Yeah. Can you tell us the story about how you
Yes.
converted the guy into $8,000?
Yes, that's like my main thing. So that's what I tell all the people I work with is it doesn't, like, we don't have to listen to bad reviews or bad feedback and think it's bad. It's a way to get better. So this guy, I had a friend from my home country came here and I trained him, and he started doing detailing. He started doing mobile detailing as well. And he came to this house. He did a Jeep, a brand new Jeep.
Okay.
He detailed it, and he forgot, or he decided not to do the top of the car, right? So if you're a customer like that, you see your car clean, but then the top is not clean, you will be angry. And then he wrote a review. His name is Don, right? He wrote a bad review, horrible, like maybe a big review. Okay. I realized that, and I contacted him and I basically said, listen, I'm sorry, this guy, is no longer with us. Let me give you a detail the way we do it. And I went and did the detail. Obviously didn't charge him anything, right? Yeah. Apologize. I never asked him to erase his review or anything. I was just doing it because I honestly felt wrong that, hey, how come? And he had pictures and everything, right? Sure. How come we went there and we didn't do the top of his Jeep? A month later, he wanted PPF. He wanted PPF his whole Gladiator. Okay. It was my first PPF job where I did the whole car. Okay. And I charged him $8,000. Wow. Right? That's what, where I trained in 3M said that we could charge $10,000, $12,000. Well, I didn't know if I could, but I charged him $8,000 for his PPF, and that's how I converted. And he gave me he erased his bad review, he gave me a good review. So that's how I converted a bad review into $8,000.
That's awesome. You built that trust with him by making it right, and then it turned into, a huge sales win for you down the road.
Exactly. Yes.
That's awesome. Well, for someone that's getting started or is watching this video and they're like, I want to start a mobile detailing or a detailing business, what kind of equipment would they need to start with? Like, do they need to have a van like you chose, or can they start smaller than that?
They can start very small. These are tanks that I just bought. Okay. Because I just bought a Honda Element, right? And I can fit everything I need on a Honda Element. I can fit everything I need on a little car, Okay. So as long as you're obviously going to be limited, right? To where if you need water, then you're not going to be able to do those details, or you're going to have to figure it out, like what to do in those cases. Yeah. But you can do interior detailing, you can do basic washes, and even whatever fits on a car. You just need a generator, pressure washer, compressor, and they can all be little, because detailing we don't need big equipment. Yes.
Interesting. What would you say the dollar amount is of like a very small setup that you would need to start doing detailing?
Okay. If you have your own car and you're not buying a car, I would think maybe $1,500. Okay. $2,000. Yeah.
So I mean that entry point is available for a lot of people, and then you just need your own initiative, after that. Because you started young, like you had the work ethic. Like when you were in college, you started out right away doing it. So
yeah, I feel kids. I mean, we have now screens, and everybody wants to make money in their home, and everybody wants to make money easy. Right? Sure. Yeah. But hard work is what's going to give you, success in the long run. Yeah. Right? And I don't know how I understood that when I was young, because I didn't speak the language, so I had to hard work to learn the language to get better jobs, right? And I didn't have it easy. I had to buy my own car. I had to buy anything I needed, right? Pay rent, all the stuff. So I didn't have a chance to sit on the phone and play games, anything like that. I also wanted a good English, so I wasn't watching TV that entertained me, just listening to things. And so I would tell anybody, this is the time when you're young that you can work hard, because when you're 40, 50, 60, you're not going to be able to. Sure. So this is the time to get outside, talk to people, if you have to be outside in the sun, you're not gonna die.
Yeah.
You know, I was outside in the sun every day for hours. I'm good.
Right.
Like health-wise is a good thing for
Sure.
people. It's better than sitting down on a chair or laying on the bed. It's a lot better for the body, for the soul, for everything.
Yeah. Well, someone that you took your $1,500, you got your setup, you're ready to get started. With hard work in that first year, what do you think someone could make detailing vehicles?
Wow. I would say that's the thing, right? Because you probably can find a better job. But I would say the first year I would have done maybe $40,000.
Okay.
You know? Not good.
Yeah.
Because the first year, especially if you don't know what you're doing, you don't have to start the way I started, right? I was I didn't have a community. I didn't read the books to learn how to do a business and everything like that.
Sure.
So if you start the way I started, you make like $30,000-$40,000.
Okay.
But if you start good and you educate yourself a lot, I feel anyone can be doing triple digits, right? Like 100,000 or more.
Really?
Yeah, if they do it right.
Okay.
Like if I mentor somebody on this right now for, I don't know, a week, I'd probably have them do a lot of money in that first year.
Interesting.
Example. So get a mentor. I would say get somebody or read a book or something like that before you start. It takes a week or two, but you'll have a lot more insight than I had, because it took me years to learn a lot of stuff that I needed to learn.
When do you feel like you turned the corner in your business? So those first years a year or two were tough.
Yes.
Like when did you be like, okay, I feel like I'm successful now doing this?
I would say when I got married.
Okay.
Right? So having that partner, then the start of a community there.
Sure.
That tells you, you should do this instead, or that helps you out. And she would come with me, and she would do a detail with me, or she would change my logo because it was horrible.
Right.
Little things like that. She'd tell me, no, don't spend on this or on that, and things like that. So that was the start of that was a turning point. That was a person now I could tell, well, what if we double our prices, and if we our prices look at this detailer that is doing that, and things like that.
So having someone that's kind of like a sounding board for your ideas that can give you good advice, whether it's your wife or a mentor or something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, and including myself, they're scared to ask for advice, right?
Sure.
A lot of people love to give advice that are unsolicited, right?
Right.
But if you ask for advice, a dad, a mom, anybody that you see that is doing the way that you want, even you can go to a shop and say, instead of I'm looking for a job, and like I'm looking for advice for this or that. And it doesn't have to be, if you're in detailing, it doesn't have to be a detailing job. It can be something similar, but that's what I would do if I was starting something.
So it wasn't about a time frame. It was more about surrounding yourself with the right people when you feel like you turned the corner and your business became successful.
Yes, because then I replicated that with other shops around, other people that I started meeting and things like that, and then we were interchanging ideas and building projects together and things like that, and that was a cornerstone, like I said.
Interesting. Well, you told us a lot about the services that you offer and things like that. Are there any jobs that you turn down where you say, this is not worth it, it's too much work, there's not going to be profit in doing this job?
Yeah. So our price start at a good point where we can figure out I don't want to be rude, right? But if someone doesn't want to pay the price, for example, to clean a detail the right way, I consider that, that person is not my client, it's somebody else's client, right? They're gonna do it, they're just not gonna do it with me.
Okay.
And you are in peace with that, because most of the time where we accept something that we have to do a lot more to get the customer happy, we end up having that customer that is still not satisfied, right? Or that's complaining about something unrelated or something like that. So we had to learn that the hard way. This is how we work. This is our system. It's very clear. We say the price up front. We take we do like 2 forms for us and for them to make sure we find everything that the car needs.
Sure.
Everything, the services that we need to offer them for them to be satisfied. And then we tell them the price. And we tell them this is going to be this. We give them options, right? So I think a steam clean would be good because you have some clients and stuff like that. We can get away without doing this option that is, let's say, $100, but I recommend it.
Sure.
Now, we do have to do a deep cleaning because you have a lot of stains that are deep and we have to use an extractor.
Yeah.
And this is going to be this much. Yeah. And if they don't want to do that, we have to turn them down.
Sure. Now, do you only work on cars, or are there other vehicles or things that you do as well?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, I say no. I don't say no to a lot of stuff, right?
Sure.
If it's a challenge. So we've done boats, we've done cars, we've done like trucks, like we did before. We've done weird stuff like trains for a parade, like things like that.
What is it?
Like a train for a parade.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I have a picture of that on somewhere, and my wife helped me with that. It's like a train face with, it was for a parade.
Yeah.
Of that, I've never done a plane. I never had that chance.
Okay.
But I would do it if they say they want a ceramic coating on a plane. I'll find a way.
Well, what's the craziest car or most interesting car that you've ever had a chance to work on?
Well, the most interesting, I mean, the most expensive or nicest one I had is the Rolls Royce that I told you.
Sure.
But I like working on cars. Like, for example, we did a Porsche one time, and the guy was about to send them to a paint job, right?
Okay.
Because the paint was bad. And we thought that we could sand it down and get that Porsche to shine again. It would have some paint chips and things like that, but it would have the original paint.
Oh, sure.
So it was a long process. It was a lot of hard work. But we converted that, like we saved that car from a paint job that wouldn't have been as nice.
Yeah.
Right? Or a Lexus, I think RX 460, where we changed everything that was kind of damaged. We changed it to new on the interior and exterior. So
okay.
Let's say the grill, we changed to a nicer grill. We put we did the chrome delete, where we put black on wherever
Nice.
the chrome is.
Yeah.
We did the paint correction and ceramic coating, so the paint was like gray, and then we turned it black again and shiny.
Yeah.
And then we did we painted the leather, right? Because it was
Oh,
cracking
okay.
and things like that. So we painted the leather, and yeah, it was at the beginning it was it's a newer looking
Yeah.
truck, or SUV.
Yeah.
So those are like 3 of my most interesting projects. I think.
That's cool. Well, is there any final advice or other advice you'd want to leave people with about your experience in building a successful business and, getting started?
Well, advice is have resilience, right?
Okay.
That's not giving up, perseverance, right? And do it consistently.
Okay.
Because you don't give up one time, okay, that's fine, but then you can't give up the next time and the next time. Because at the end, like when you see the numbers, you realize you've been growing.
Mm-hmm.
You may not be where you want to be, but you've been growing, and if you keep it up, then in the next 5 years you'll be a lot better.
Yeah.
So have resilience, don't give up, and educate yourself.